All right, folks. The Jamaica Teachers Association, they've been conducting wage negotiations with the government, and here with an update, the president of the JTA, Georgia War Richards. Morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Neville.
And principal.
Yes, indeed.
Let me start at the top, and we could go back. Okay. Because I know that the government will be starting a retreat today, and they said they would get back to you on Friday.
Certainly.
I also heard about fringe benefits that seem to be acceptable by your group. What is a fringe benefit, by the way, when they say that?
Well, a fringe benefit, as the word suggests, and as a teacher, I tell you that it's usually not good to define a word using the root of the word, but a fringe benefit is what it says. The word is suggestive. It's that additional benefit, that thing you get that is unique to your profession, that operates more or less as an incentive and sort of, if we want to put it this way, sweeten the package. Right. Yes.
All right, so let me go back to the start now. So 6%, you have said no.
6% the teachers have rejected, yes.
Well, how does that happen? Do you take it to just your executive body or all the teachers involved in this? Do they all have a say in what you want to say to the government and to the folks who you're negotiating with?
First of all, I must say that our association has a very robust communication system. Outside of that, we are so structured that representatives are selected from among the ranks, from right across the country. These representatives form the central executive and the general council of the JTA. So in any central executive meeting or any general council meeting of the JTA, you will find representatives from right across Jamaica. And whilst the hierarchy of the JTA would go countrywide to get response, these representatives from the different areas also come to these meetings with mandates from their representatives.
Okay. You have asked, or you were offered 6%, you said no. What are you asking for, or what did you ask for?
Well, Neville, I'm sure you will appreciate the fact that we're still negotiating, then I would not be at liberty to speak to those things. Specifically, what I can say to you is that, as is the nature of negotiations, the government would have put something on the table, we would have put something on the table, and negotiation would allow for us to find that middle ground that is comfortable for both parties. And
6% is not comfortable
certainly
for your
not.
party?
Certainly not, and that's why we continue to negotiate.
Right. Again, the Prime Minister said he will get back to you on Friday. Before that, I'm not certain if it was your body who said this or the union representing your body who said that they could not guarantee normalcy if you guys did not get what you want.
Well, I can first of all say that there is only one entity, organization, that negotiates on behalf of teachers, and that is the Jamaica Teachers Association.
Not the unions.
Well, the Jamaica Teachers Association is a trade union. Okay. Whilst it's a professional organization, it is also a teacher trade union, and we negotiate on behalf of the teachers of Jamaica. And so you would have heard us at different points. We've made different pronouncements, possibly to include that.
Right. Not possibly to include that. It did include that, actually. The police officer started a sick out, for want of a better phrase. Is that what you had planned to do, or can you tell me what the plans were?
I am not at liberty because I'm president, but there is a committee that is tasked with that specific responsibility, and that committee is named the Action Committee of the Jamaica Teachers Association.
That committee will tell you what they think that you guys should do.
If it became necessary at a point, then that committee would have been meeting, that committee would have been on high alert, and if it gets to the point where we need to act, then the committee would make its decisions public. So you will agree that we're not there yet. So the committee would actually not have made public declarations yet.
You're being very politically correct, ma'am, which I can live with. Okay, what if, and the what if questions are usually kind of strange, but what if the Prime Minister and the government and the Minister of Finance comes back and says, well, we can't offer after this retreat, we can't offer, we just don't have the money to give you more than 6%. What would you do then?
Neville, you'll agree with me that the fact that we are at a point where the Prime Minister has intervened, it is now at the highest level. And it means that the Prime Minister would have observed, he would have apprised himself, and he would have recognized that we are at a position where we need something to happen. And I'm sure he would know that coming back with the same thing would not make a difference. Our Prime Minister is that intelligent. So he will know that coming back with the same thing would not make sense. And so we trust his judgment, we trust his leadership, and we trust his ability to intervene in a positive way.
Again, very politically correct, but I didn't get an answer. What would you say to the folks who say, well, you're teachers. You're not supposed to strike, for want of a better word. You're not supposed to do what some of us think might happen if you don't get what you want. What do you say to those people that we need you? The youngsters are out there, and I understand that you also have a life and you need to go to the supermarket and you have a family to run. I appreciate that. But what would you say to those people who says, no, move on?
Can I use an analogy in answering you, Neville?
You can do anything you want.
All of us in Jamaica nowadays, every Jamaican citizen is a frequent flyer. And you will agree that when you get that safety instruction, when you embark the aircraft, you're told in the case of an emergency, you must put on your oxygen mask first to be in a position to assist and to save the others. Right. And I believe that teachers are taking that personally now. We must put ourselves in a position to be effective at what we do.
You have to look after yourself,
yes.
In other words, before you could look after
certainly,
me.
Certainly.
As the president, and
yes.
again, you've already said you have a committee that deals with that, your action committee. As the president, would you want to see your teachers sick and not going to school?
Not at all. There's no, because that goes against productivity. So if my teachers are sick, not only will it affect the education system, but it will affect Jamaica at large. Because the truth is, we impact almost all the other sectors. So when we can't go, the parent can't go, come to the studio to work here with you, Neville, because there's nowhere to send their children. The banks are going to be short-staffed because parents there will have to stay home with their children or make other arrangements which are not necessarily the most suitable but the best they can do at the point. And so no well-thinking Jamaican would want to see productivity being hindered in that way. Yeah. And that is why we continue to negotiate. That is why we continue to say, let us take this thing seriously, because the effects can be far-reaching, and we don't want that.
Yep. You've already answered this question, but I'm going to ask it again, because you said you rejected the 6, and you said, well, you haven't told me what you've asked for. Is it a lot more than 6% that you're asking for? Is it?
What we've asked for, we consider reasonable, considering the economic conditions of our teachers at this time, having endured a wage freeze for 6 years. So we consider it reasonable. But at the end of the day, we want our teachers to be comfortable. The Jamaica Teachers Association wants to win, and the Jamaica Teachers Association wants Jamaica to win.
Yep. The wage freeze for 6 years means you have not been given a raise
yes.
or an increase for 6 years.
Yes. And you would understand the effects of that.
What
that would
should have happened? Should you have been given a raise every year, every 2 years?
We agreed to the wage freeze.
No, but I mean, what should happen on a normal
Usually
conditions?
we negotiate for 2 years
for
each
2 years.
Time.
So
yes.
It's been like 3 different negotiations you have forfeited, for want of a better word.
Right, and you would understand the effect of that, in essence, teachers' income, disposable income, would have been depleted over that period, and it would have put us in a bad shape. And that's why we think we're reasonable in what we're asking.
Can schools do anything? In other words, I am a teacher at St. George's College. Can St. George's say, all right, you're getting $10, you want it 12, the school will give you 12? Can that happen?
Schools do not operate a budget that could facilitate anything like that. And whatever grants or monies come into schools from the government of Jamaica, that's designated funds for designated purposes. So schools do not have that
all right, bring me up to date now. The Prime Minister, the government on a retreat on Friday. When is the next meeting with whomever? We
do not have a date to return for negotiation. What we're looking forward to is response from our Prime Minister, as he has promised, on Friday. And I'm sure we would have to give time for whatever will be said to us at that time to be made official, put in writing, and we take it from there.
I pray that it works.
We're hopeful.
The fact that I've been reading for a while is thanks to a teacher.
Yes.
You're probably the most important group in our country. And I pray that it works out for you. I pray that we won't have for want of a better word, industrial action.
Thanks for acknowledging us as such. And it is our prayer too. We're Christian teachers, and we pray and ask the Lord to intervene. As much as the Prime Minister has intervened, we're asking the Lord to intervene too, because he is the teacher of all teachers. He is the God of all wisdom, and he'll know just how to handle this and to give direction to those of us who are in leadership.
Yep. Not a question, ma'am, but I think you should go into politics.
Again, I wait on the Lord to lead.
Your answers are incredibly politically correct, but I understand.
Yes.
And I appreciate that. Thanks for coming. And
have a good day and all the very best to you.
President of the Jamaica Teachers Association, Mrs. Georgia Waugh Richards, who should be in politics. Stay with us, folks. We lighten the mood with a few facts and some music after the break. Soon come back.